locked in here for On, provide a little bit more extra hard engage. I think overall BLG have set themselves up with a really nice composition that, you know, they can roam around the map a little bit with this mid jungle and get the side lanes ahead, which will allow them to win once we get into these mid-game fights.
This is a very standard this meta. You're going to be able to head straight over towards those ones. Can there be any potential steal? Weibo would love to be able to grab even one of them right now.
Or will it just be an even trade? They're sending up Era as a scout right now to start things out. Well, 2 of the grubs have been secured, but it looks like BLG actually okay with giving up all of them. Or here comes Hero's entrance in from Zhao, who had knocks up 2. Wei with a crescent guard already, though it knocks a bunch of people away. He flashes down with the side. Impale goes on a 2. Come out with the pop blossom. That's first blood going over to Weibo Gaming. They get themselves a second with Bin dropping. But now, Elk's able to free fire. Knight's coming in with the teleport as well. The big carries for BLG trying to do some work to come back here in this team fight. Breathe very low. He flashes away here from the continued Q. And the piercing arrow is dodged as well. On the other side of things, it's going to be On in trouble as Tien chases him down. The rock doesn't connect, but the Prey Seeker will. 3-1 in favor of Weibo.
Oh, that full fight from Weibo was a complete mess, but they just decide, hey, we could go in. They managed to grab themselves that final grub. Not quite. Now they're going to be able to grab themselves that final grub and then just go flying in. It all starts with that public execution for Breathe. I really hope that we get to see a replay of that fight because it's the wombo combo we were hoping for at 13 minutes into the game. So before any of the real item breakpoints come through, before you actually deal that much damage, and that's the real issue that you run into as Weibo. There's multiple moments in that fight where they kind of run out of damage and have to turn around, run away, wait for some cooldowns to reapply. Here we go. So, initial, really well played to be able to just grab up an opponent right there with that public execution. It's very easy to miss that straight up, straight into the Galio ulti and straight into the top blossom right here out of Erha. The first 2 kills are easy enough, but it's at this point where you've kind of blown everything and you are running a little bit out of damage. Elk is dealing some decent damage. Knight nearly takes Breathe out as well, but because you managed to find that initial bit of engage, take out the top and jungle of your opponents, well, there isn't really too much more to do. That was a very nice snipe to cap off the fight.
And so, it's 1 extra grub going over to Weibo, plus that team fight that we just watched, obviously. 2 of those 3 kills. Going over to Light on this Kaista, that's big because of what we have already said. Weibo's composition desperately needs Light to get ahead.
Yeah.
They won't have any chance of winning this one. As for BLG, Elk gets a couple of kills, or Elk gets a kill. It's not bad, but you wish it was a little bit more than that because they got so close to actually turning that one around.
Yeah, absolutely. They were so nearly there. And this is a team composition that also doesn't particularly spike at that point. Wei was in a strong spot, but just got 1 tapped to begin the fight off. On actually jumped straight over the wall to get Tian.
They just immediately knew it was Erha.
To get Erha,
and that means that Wei will take him down. So the support here for Weibo Gaming out of the picture here. Light maybe going a little bit too forward as well. Jumps straight into the audacious charge of Wei. 3-man impale from Tian. Combined with the public execution. And that's just going to wipe BLG off the face of the map. Wei stuck in a 1v4 to try to pick up 1 kill in response, but will not be able to find it. A double kill in for Light. And Weibo with 2 massive skirmishes in a row.
Hey, you're going to be more than happy with just picking up that kill onto Erha. And despite the fact that, yeah, he dies, everything after that goes Weibo's way. We talked about it, right? This is a composition that really needed to get ahead early, needed the damage to be able to come through, otherwise it just does not work out. In this situation, yeah, On flashing over the wall as well means that there's no way to get back out of this one. There's no way to get away from the impale that comes on through. And this is gorgeous right here from Tian. Exactly what we have been asking for from these scans. Flash, impale, 3 members dragged in. Bin and Wei, they recognize that there's really no way they should be stepping up here. Unfortunately, Wei does also get caught on the backside of this fight. That means that the Drake is 100% going to go over to Weibo. And BLG's jungle struggles continue.
Yeah, just a little bit over-aggressive there. It looked like originally a nice pick, but they saw Tian on a ward. They knew that reinforcements would have been on the way. Speaking of reinforcements, now Bin could be in some trouble here in the mid lane. Gets hit up by the Tangle Barb, just gets one shot before he can do anything here. Already 8-2 in terms of kill score towards Weibo Gaming. It looks like BLG will get one back as Tian does fall, shut down, going the way of Elk. But right now, Weibo in massive control of this game. They're up 3,000 gold. They have 5 kills on Light and are pushing on both side lanes at the same time.
Exactly, and because of that, it feels like nobody from BLG knows exactly where to go. With the enemy jungler down, you'd think maybe they're going to be able to head up towards the top side of the map and grab that Rift Herald, but just not going to be the case at the moment. This is a composition from BLG that spikes pretty hard at this 2-item point, but that's the point at which Weibo Gaming are absolutely online. And right now, with them in treating them so well at the moment, they do at least have Darkness to play around. Maybe as Weibo, you just concede this one. You're not particularly worried about giving over this Herald.
They are. Teleport comes in. It's going to be Xiao joining the fight. Immediately they try to turn their attention towards Tian as he's the one in most danger of a steal. Arrow's Pop Blossom only finds one with the public execution from Breathe. It finds a priority target, and Elk's already out of the picture. Now it's Wei getting knocked into the wall by the Ixtal's impact. The second kill finds the way of Light. And now it's the rest of BLG on the run. The Herald not even going in favor of BLG at the end of the day. It's Weibo picking up that and 2 more kills. Knight trying to save something here by using the Weaver's Wall to get on over here. But the priority still remains much on Weibo's side.
Very much so, and with this Rift Herald available, the 4 grubs too, this mid lane tower takes a ton of damage. Not quite going to go down on this initial push. Knight's way. And unfortunately, in this sort of game where BLG have got themselves on, who's hopefully that tanky frontline, and gets the flash out of Elk right there. Breathe on point with these, and Wei hopefully strong enough to be able to go in and be a bit of that frontline too. If that's not the case, if Wei isn't healing enough once he's in and amongst members, don't take that. What? Huh?
Flashes forward. They're looking for Erha. Depth charge on to Breathe. The Chain of Corruption has come out. Era is very low. Wei dashing forward again, but there's no reinforcement for the rest of BLG. Bin is just way too late. He gets stunned into the wall with the Ixtal's impact, and now he's isolated. It's a double kill in for Breathe. Taunt from Xiao, who lands on a 2. BLG are just going in 1 by 1 and getting annihilated by Weibo. Already a 4 for 1 as only Era has fallen. The mid lane tier 1 will drop, and Weibo dominating this first game.
They're going to be able to pull back and grab themselves this Drake as well. Hextech Drake, such a strong one to be able to grab as an individual or as a soul. Weibo, complete and utter control of this game.
Part of me is like saying that Weibo's doing good, but the other part of me is wondering why BLG are looking for these sorts of engages, and now Wei's gonna get caught out again. He gets taunted up by Xiaohu and taken down. That is sure to be the Otacon, if not more, if Weibo don't continue to overextend. Light gets hit up by the depth charge, flashes straight into the hook of On. Pyrotechnics comes out, but the re-engage and the damage is just too big on Weibo's side. Breathe picking up the solo kill onto Elk, and now Tian dashing forward and finding another knock up here on up in. Everybody on BLG's continuing to drop. Knight the lone survivor here, but he's stuck underneath his inhibitor tower as Weibo are still 5 strong.
Yeah, they've got a wave pushing in this top lane as well, so this top lane tier 2 tower very likely to fall right here. They don't even have the ability to peel back to go get the Baron because it isn't up for another 2 minutes. Instead, just going to be the Atachan, the prize right here for Weibo on top of the kills they were able to grab. And why they need a shake-up somewhere, whether it's just through strategy or through moving personnel around. Something has to change. BLG, they've got higher aspirations than being middle of the pack here in the LPL. Knight, don't step up here, has to insta-flash away. That's a big cooldown to now be away. Wei also taking massive damage. Here goes Tian.
Yeah, they have been voracious Otacon here, so they can go very aggressive without much risk at all. Tian, very low HP, but already Light picks up that first kill onto On. Already 1 revive here, but here comes the killer racing forward from Light. Picks himself up a double kill, and potentially looking for more. The blast cone out will send everybody on Weibo back out to safety, and they will be able to head back to base after picking up 2 kills for free.
Okay, Erha also going to be able to survive. It's a bit of an aggressive play there. BLG stepping up into their jungle, but it's no longer theirs to walk through uncontested. Weibo just complete control in this game right now. And the other thing I would really like to call out from making this interesting composition work is the build path that we're seeing right here out of Breathe. Usually, you see the Eclipse on the Ambessa, which gives you some extra survivability, but not quite as much damage. No, this is full aggression right here. Shojin, Yomu's, and then the Edge of Night has just been completed for that extra little bit of survivability, but also a ton of damage too. And I think this is what you really needed. You needed a threat from another angle, because it otherwise was very much just going to be the Kai'Sa. Light has played this one out excellent, but so has Breathe. He's been on point with these ultis every time he's either landing it or he's getting a flash out of his opponents.
They've see the Cyclosword as part of this build as well, but it looks like...
Are we gonna get there?
Maybe next item. Maybe that's 4 here. But, I mean, it's 20-4. Part of me is like, maybe he just decided to build lethality because he realized the game was over. I don't know.
He was going towards this pretty early on, although that would be funny too, to be like, yeah, I don't need extra survivability. I mean, you're in a composition, right, where you've got yourself a Skarner and a Galio. You don't have to be the survivability option. You don't need to be the tank here. You can go and be a main damage threat. 4-0-10, an incredibly impressive performance at this point. Baron has now finally joined us on the Rift. BLG once again stepping up, but they need to be careful. They really don't own this jungle at the moment. And Weibo, they can either start this one up and finish it, or they can peel off and go look for a fight. They've been loving the team fight so far.
Hey, you're up 9,000 gold. Might as well just try to force a fight, force BLG to come towards you, because it's going to go relatively well. You don't just completely screw things up. Baron's at half HP. Tien, he's got to make sure he lands that final smite, or at least push way away from the pit to make sure there's no chance at a steal. The fight's going to begin here immediately before the Baron gets really taken low. Immediately, Bin is taken down. Wei pops the Crescent Guard. Light's very low HP for the Pop Blossom from Era, doing a lot of work. Knight finally gets one back. This could be BLG's opportunity here. The Impale lands onto just one, and Weibo still going to take control here of this team fight. Elk going to just be continuously caught out, taken down here by Light. Only Knight surviving. He'll pick up a 1k shutdown, but that's all he will get as an ace gets picked up for Weibo Gaming once again.
The death timers are getting pretty long at this point, but I don't think the push is going to come through. The main damage threats have gone down right here for Weibo. It was a slightly better fight for BLG overall, but at this point they're so far behind, the wallet diff beginning to come through. They just lose it right now. The dragon has now spawned. This is practically going to be do or die here for BLG.
Yeah, they're going to have to find the dream fight that they have yet to open up with. On really gets caught out here by a bit of a death rush. No vision in this area of the map right now for BLG. They're going to have to go in blind. Initially finding the hook on a Xiaohu, but On could be in some trouble afterwards. Breathe on the flank. Looking maybe for the public execution, but BLG are stacked up as 5 and making sure that nobody can go and get singled out. Era going to go forward to Pop Blossom. The Dragon is secured by Tien. That's a Hextech Soul going over to Weibo. They already have taken down Wei, and now could be looking for more. On still very low on HP. The Excel's impact, finding Knight. There's the hero's entrance to try to respond here. Knight will go down. Light finds the kill. Bin the next to follow. Already 3 kills picked up, make it 4. And Elk may soon to be the final nail in the coffin here for Bilibili Gaming. He gets hit up by the Tangle Barbs. Light will claim the kill and go golden for a little bit extra swag. 30-6 is the scoreline right now for Weibo Gaming as they'll push right down mid and try to take control of game number 1.
This is going to be a clean ace right here for Weibo. They've just been better in the team fights. They've been better overall than BLG. And with 20 seconds until anybody with real wave clear is back up and available, this will be game number 1. Weibo, they want to move beyond being even right now. They want to take control of that 5th spot right now in Group Ascent. They want to send BLG down.
Well, but Hatting and the KDAs. One more kill over to Tien.
Champion's been good on these. Enchanter's been good on the engage supports. The Rel is the top available pick. I would have loved to have seen the Blitzcrank, but it would have been way too risky, I think, in this situation. And the Rel here does just round out this bot lane. You're probably not going to be able to win out in the 2v2, but Erha can potentially just go join up with Tian and get onto the game is a dive onto bot lane. They've been using it to great effect, although Bin has been on the receiving end of a lot of the counter plays on the backside of the map. We'll have to see if this is what's going to happen, because right now there are no camps for you in this area. You're going to have to dive to make this worth your time.
Especially, yeah, because Tian's already on the other side of the map. He's getting the faster clear, so now Wei has to respond with a gank here onto Light. The Jin has no flash, but the Deadly Flourish comes out. On will drop, and so will maybe one more, but the tower aggro was juggled beautifully. It is a 1-for-1 with Elk going down, but it's going to start doing even more damage. You're okay with where we're at, even though technically you're at a deficit.
Just a very slight one at the moment, nothing too worrying, especially not when you're into the sort of composition who's got to find some pretty tricky to hit straight up engages. Xiaohu needs to run here. Do they know? Yeah, they know. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Xiaohu has been exposed. Weirding in, nice flash from On.
Nice.
He's going to force the flash away from Xiaohu as well. Just a little bit of shenanigans up there on the top side. Going to be trying to match here with Bin. You know, potential 1v2 with Erha and Breathe. Era's waiting to land that flash.
Oh.
Nicely done for a dodge away from Bin, but Light has arrived to the fight as well. Definitely not going to be a fair one here for Bin. He's able to do a lot of damage back.
Hello?
No more procs to the needlework though, and Era's going to be the one to pick it up.
A few missed skill shots just there, as now Tian actually flashing forwards in this situation. He's in a 3v1 right now. He doesn't care.
BLG, Weibo, not there just yet to respond, although here comes their bottom lane. 5 grubs immediately picked up here for BLG, so
yeah,
at the very least they're going to get that significant advantage, but it looks like Tian's going to be able to close this one out for his team and make sure that not all of them go over here to the blue side.
Yeah, things going to slow down just a little bit at this point. Although breathing on, actually stepping up.
Oh, Era on a flank
hang
as
on.
well, landing that Magnus Storm immediately here onto Bin, and Bin just gets taken down. That's the Feats of Warfare picked up for Weibo Gaming. The first shot of the curtain call will take that away, and Elk gets to flash on out of there, or shift on out of there. A 2-0 fight going Weibo's way after giving up 2 of the 3 grubs.
I really thought things were going to slow down just there, but now we see these explosive plays that give over to the majority of top laners, and yet 0-0 right now, just not effective.
It's one of the best top laners in the world. This was our featured matchup of the day coming in, Bin versus Breathe, but right now it's really Bin. Breathe taking control of this one, and a Grand Starfall comes in from Tian, looking to try to take down Elk and On, who once again are overextended for BLG. No flash, no shift, that's Tian getting another kill, and Weibo Gaming once again off to a blazing starting game 2.
That's a really nice bit of layer, a little bit of push down on towards this Mountain Drake. It's the first Drake of the game, and it's 14 minutes into the game. Usually we see these picked up way earlier on. BLG, the saving grace for themselves right now is that they're able to grab this Drake, they're able to grab 5 of the grubs, so the neutral objective step up and face check a brush. He was able to try to face check around an objective. The answer really is nobody, whereas Weibo, they've got themselves a couple of tankier members, they've got a ton of damage to be able to deal with something like the Jarvan as well. It's a good pick.
Completely thought he was safe, although he was right on a ward once again, using the empowered mantra W to try to get some healing, but it's not enough. His light shuts him down with a forced shot. Now a teleport comes in for BLG, but it might just be a little bit too late. Not going to join the fight. We already watched 2 of his players fall by the wayside. Bin already utilizing needlework, so no more ultimate here for the Gwen. Deadly Flourish dodged away from the Ahri. Now the curtain call has been issued. Elk gets hit up by the second and the third. The 4th shot will be dodged away from Elk, beautifully getting away from any damage here from the Jin, but he's not going to get away from the Pantheon as the Kamashir will shut him down, and Nidus uses his final proc of the Spirit Rush to try to escape as well.
And Knight just about going to be the survivor from all of that bloodbath. Bin even has to cancel his recall right here. A little bit of extra insult to injury. And Weibo, they're just fighting so much better. 8-1 in terms of the kills. They're going to be up by 3,000 gold as well. And it all starts with On thinking that he's safe and just getting a one-tap to right there by Light. So much damage on that 4th shot. And it's again BLG. They don't recognize on the map where they are safe, where they are not. Losing track of where the vision is. This is a total team collapse from BLG that we were not expecting. Yeah, we knew that they were on a little bit of slides, but they are getting embarrassed by Weibo so far.
I mean, not even the FPX games, I feel like, look this rough here. As again, On just not pressing the sweeper button, or just being really out of position, one or the other.
And it just carries on, right? There's nothing too fancy that happens here. A couple of nice hit skill shots, you know. Very good aggression. Hang on, breathe.
Looking for some sort of opportunity to go for a fight. Erha does crash down away. Charm does land up to Xiaohu between worlds, though will get him out again. As Xiaohu continuously, seemingly gets cut off, but will not be able to go down. He still has not died yet in this game. But will come at the cost of this tier 1 tower down to the bottom lane. But Weibo Gaming not losing a life just yet. Still going to be very good for them. Only 1 death issued. It's On to Light.
Not again On.
And now On's going to get catched out here by Erha, who's looking for a flank. Rift Herald, by the way, also taken on this top side by Weibo Gaming. And Tian can join the fight with a Grand Starfall if he wants. So BLG going to continue to push here onto this tier 2. They at least get that. Take it. Use his flash last time the Cataclysm was available for Wei. And here they go. They're going to try it again. Flag and Drag does connect. Nice play here by BLG. They finally get an answer here back on to Breathe and will continue their domination here of the turrets at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, they've now picked themselves up another turret and a kill. They've brought this gold lead back down to only being about 1,000. And this is bad from Weibo, actually. They are not getting involved in this game anywhere near enough. They've kind of allowed the game to start happening to them for a little while. Yes, you lost 5 of the grubs, so the tower taking potential is very potent for BLG, but it's still surprising to see the way that they have conceded so much space, so much pressure across the map when they were winning out on these skirmishes so effectively early on. Now, you can see first items completed on everybody, second item now completed on both Tian and Light, so these two are going to be incredibly strong, and they can potentially go and try to play around this Drake. It's only going to be the second Drake of the game, despite the fact that we're 20 minutes in.
Yeah, not really been the focus really for either of these teams. Weibo, the ones that started off, remember BLG were going to pick up first Drake of the game, and so they're okay with just giving this one over. So Weibo controlled this one.
Things have expanded back out once again. 3k the gold lead right now for Weibo.
And that's what has to be the plan for BLG. If you're going to send somebody out forward in a side lane, you need to have some cover for him, whether it's Wei hovering around the area or maybe On going to push down here. They're looking for Xiaohu, who once again gets rooted up here by the W of On, tries to get into the other side of the ultimate, but actually will not be able to. So finally, Xiaohu is the one who gets caught out here, and BLG once again back on the board with another pick. They're going to head over to this Otacon, and there's nobody on Weibo's side to contest it.
Now we're going to get the Rift Herald popped that's been in inventory for a while for Tian. Bin also potentially could get jumped right here. Obviously, still has the Gwen is immune, though.
Magnus Storm with so far. Bin trying to outplay a 1v3, but in goes Tian with the Grand Starfall. So it will be a shutdown going on to the Gwen, or just a regular kill, I should say, as Breathe will break open this top lane tier 2 turret. Again, coming at the cost of this Ruinous Otacon. But Weibo still feeling pretty happy about where things are. The gold continue to be in their favor, and they could be very happy if they get a kill here onto Elk and On. The fourth shot is shifted away from as Elk barely is able to dodge away from that one. But another kill in the hands of Weibo Gaming, and they're going to continue to push into the base.
Yeah, they absolutely can. They've got a big wave right here in the top side. They've got a wave pouring in through the mid lane as well. And because the Atakan took so long to take for BLG, they're just not going to be able to get back for this one. Off the back of Atakan picked up for BLG, they're going to lose out on a couple thousand gold. The gold lead expands right here to about 5,000. TP behind coming through. Interesting.
Knight's going to try to cut him off. Already some backs have been channeled. The target right now is going to be Light. He has both summoner spells, waiting to use that charm. It doesn't hit anyway. And now Wei will finally use that Cataclysm, but Light still flashes on out. The Flagon Drag comes through. Finally, a shutdown will find the way of Wei, but it'll be traded right back as Tian will get one in response. So both AD carry and mid lane are down on opposite sides. Now the junglers are dueling it out. Bin here to try to respond. It'll be a 2-for-1 in favor of BLG, as now Weibo might be the one playing sloppy. But as I say that, Elk gets stunned up here by Era, and Zhao should have enough damage to try to take him down. It'll be the Rel to finish off the kill.
TP also coming in right here. Bin gonna rejoin in this mid lane play.
Now the question is, will BLG feel strong enough to try to fight for that? They could just give it up, because remember, Weibo is still very far away from the soul. But maybe they want to fight it. I don't know. Bin has 2 completed items now, the Nashor's Tooth and the Riftmaker in inventory. You can say the same about all the other carries here for BLG. They want to risk it. Oh, and Starfall comes out. It's going to be Bin caught out here by both Xiaohu and Tian, and Erha on the way as well. They're sending the whole Bard in onto Bin. Will the Gwen be able to buy enough time? Pops the Shroud, will be immune for a little bit longer. Finally has reached the rest of his team. The needlework comes out, but it's far too late. The kill goes into Tian's arms, and now it's the rest of BLG that are going to try to find this fight in their favor, and they find the first kill into Tian with a nicely used Cataclysm from Wei. But the response from Breathe is big. The Shock Blast takes down the Jarvan, and it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Weibo Gaming.
And they lose out onto their jungler Weibo, so that might dissuade the Dragon from going on. Looks like BLG want to keep playing, though.
Oh, On. He walks right into the waiting arms of Erha, and now Knight's in trouble as well. They cancel the backs, but they're just going to die for it. 2 more for Weibo, and it might be 3. A nice engage from Erha. Elk forced to use the Blast Cone away. He dodges away from the Deadly Flourish and tries to use the Q to get them like this damage just yet. BLG still feel like they're too far behind. Knight on this, you know, tanky, bruisery Ahri build with the Rod of Ages. Elk not fully getting to his third item just yet. Bin dying too early before he can do
by
anything.
not taking that initial Drake for ages, but now Bin stepping up. We've seen this one before.
Here comes Tien, dashes away, but is not going to dodge away from the stun. Gets away from the Shock Blast though. Bin doing a lot of damage back with the needlework. Trying to answer back here in a 1v2. Meanwhile, the rest of BLG pushing down mid, knowing that they do not have two of their members as they are both on the bottom side. With the 5 grubs, BLG are able to get one tower back, and Weibo don't get anything in for it. It's going to take a little bit more work. They've been finding some opportunities. Will this be finally the turn that they need? Hera's looking for the flank. Not going to be able to find or pop that engage. They want to wait things out just a little bit longer here. A lot of tools at BLG's disposal.
Yeah.
You don't want to utilize any of them yet.
They have to be very careful, Tian. Going to be looking for that initial bit of engage. Elk just has to insta-flash away from him right here.
And that uses the Spirit Guard as well, so now Wei can re-engage here with the Cataclysm. Zhao is the flash away. Tian a half HP. Here comes Bin, looking to do some damage with the Needlework. It's a 1-for-1 though, as Tian will fall, but the Gwen will too. The Curtain Call's been opened up. Era's still looking for one more engage. Wei gets hit by the force shot, but it's not enough to take him down just yet. Just a 1-for-1 across the map, but everybody on Weibo still just a little bit healthier here. On, looking to try and buy some space here with the Mantra Q, trying to slow down Weibo on their continued push, and they will force BLG to head back to base.
Yeah, the fact that you lose the jungler here in Tian means you really can't keep stepping up into this situation. It was a well-played fight from Bin, actually. He really needed to make that one a 1-for-1, otherwise it was just going to get taken out and probably losing out onto the game. Weibo could have moved up towards the Baron for themselves. Instead, now it's going to be plays right here around the Drake. Tian going to be up in 5 seconds time and does have himself that Grand Starfall, so he can come and rejoin the rest of his team very quickly.
It's going to be the Dragon, despite Tian not being there. So Soul Point, Chemtech Soul Point here for Weibo. Even though the Chemtech Soul is not the flashiest one. Yeah, Elk's had a pretty quiet game, but he's suddenly becoming one of the most important parts of this BLG composition. Again, he's been one of the more consistent players on this team despite some of their struggles throughout the later half of this first round robin. Now approaching that 4th item, Bloodthirster, still very strong here. BLG considering starting up the Baron, but I think they know better than to do that. As now Weibo hovering around this mid lane. Era's gonna get collapsed upon. He might have gone a little bit too far forward. Wei does have the Cataclysm, but I don't know if they want to fully burn it on just the support. There goes Bin. He dashes forward for a little bit more. They found Light. He still has his flash. Doesn't want to use it just yet. Finally, will issue it once Tether comes out from on.
You can start up the Baron almost immediately as BLG. Oh, they stepped away. They've left
so risky, though, because you could lose your whole base if you go a little bit too far. Speaking of, though, you could lose your top laner right now. Bin nearly taken down Breathe with the Needlework, plus the tower damage, but now he has to go golden as the rest of Weibo have responded on the bottom side. Bin somehow still alive, pops another QSS to try to keep himself up and healthy, and now here comes Wei. Cataclysm under Light. The Light has no flash. Bilibili Gaming, do you believe the turnaround here in game number 2? Zhao will drop. It is a 4-for-0 for BLG.
Oh, BLG, they're going to be able to pull this one back around 50 seconds on the majority of the carries right here. Tian, the only remaining member, and with those 5 grubs and a Gwen, looks like this one is going to be picked up. Yeah, I feel like they can push forwards for the end, right? 40 seconds on Zhao, who 35 on Light, and you just melt through these towers. We're going to be going to a game 3.
How did the game just end like that? An overextension from Weibo on the bottom lane, and it was Bin and then the rest of the team to finish off this game. Tian has fallen. Nobody's alive. The Nexus is exposed, and we might just be headed to a game number 3. Era's the only member alive to watch his Nexus fall. BLG are gonna be lock in here for on, as BLG want to try to disrupt what Weibo are doing. Weibo have a full front-to-back composition. They want to just throw out their ultimates, go for the front-to-back team fight, whereas BLG also want to play to the late game, but they want to try to find picks of their own. Use the Nocturne to single out a single target. Let Elk get a reset.
Before the junglers quite yet, so we're still waiting on those very powerful tools to be able to come through.
Should be this first dragon picked up basically for no problem. Again, it was traded by those first 3 grubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Things have been a little bit rough so far, but this is kind of what you expect. A lot of poke coming through. Tian having his red buff stolen away. There's the engage.
Already going for the engage. Nice pulverize. Pushed out by Erha to make sure that fear doesn't connect. Still some damage to be done. Xiaohu on the way. Slilting Lullaby only on to the Kassadin. And the Super Mega Death Rock lands onto Blight. Here comes Xiaohu, looking for potentially a shockwave. It finds two, and he goes right into Knight's Flash. And First Blood is picked up by Weibo Gaming. They get a second one with Knight dropping as well. And on the run, on the wrong side of the map. There's no chance of him escaping this one, as the aggression from BLG proves disastrous off of the invade. Xiaohu will finish off this kill and make it 3-0 Weibo.
This one's going to be picked up relatively easily right there by Xiaohu. They managed to get themselves the Feats of Warfare.
Thankfully, none of them losing their lives. This proceeded, lands on a 2. Oh, the Lilting Lullaby is going to come out. Oh, what a huge Keeper's Verdict from On. It might save Elk's life.
The burn.
Continues to burn down, and Faded Ashes plus the Leandries will have her 4th kill to go over towards Tian, but it could have been a lot worse.
Things stalled out, and they threw the game away. In this game, when you've got a Kassadin and a Jinx on the other side, you cannot afford to let things stall out. Weibo, they're going to have to keep the tempo high.
Knight has not gone after the start that he wanted. Down a little bit in CS, he just picks up his Rod of Ages. It's going to be a while until it becomes a real threat.
Oh yeah, you are very much waiting. Decides to go all in straight onto this Orianna. Maybe there's a chance you're going to be able to survive that one long enough to at least return the kill, if not live through the assault. And now, 14 or so minutes into this game. Erha might be caught here. He's pretty deep and kind of have been abandoned by the rest of his friends.
He does have the Unbreakable Will to try to keep himself alive, but On is on the flank, should be able to use the Heroic Charge backwards. Oh, what a flash from Erha to get himself on out of there. And now Wei's going forward with the Paranoia. That was just ill-advised, as Wei gets nothing off of that play. Level Erha. So when that 16 becomes unlocked. Even at 11, it's a decent power spike right now. The Dragon's going to be taken here by Weibo. That is Soul Point, Mountain Soul Point at that. For them.
To where you're sending your junglers. Yes, you've got some good movement ability from Wei to get himself over to objectives quickly, but you still don't want to put yourself into a bad situation here.
Right now, BLG still looking for their first kill. This could be it here as an ultimate comes down from Wei, forcing a flash from the Orianna. Xiaohu gonna use the shockwave in response though, and almost trying to take down Wei. The Mikhail's gonna save Wei's life, but that was oh so close. Response is a bot lane tower tier 1 taken, but now it is Elk in a lot of trouble here. This World Seas dodged away from, but this Jinx sure to not live for very much longer unless he gets some support. Bin comes in with the teleport, and Elk will live as we
turn it around.
Being very patient. He's very far away. Knight on the other side of the map is going to pick up this tower and then likely teleport to try and join a fight. As Weibo are starting up this dragon again. It'll be Mountain Soul if they can pick it up. Keeper's Verdict is being issued by On. They're going to try and maybe cancel somebody here, but it ends up not going fully through. Dragon's at half HP. Again, Weibo desperately want this Mountain Soul early. Dominus already be popped by Bin. Things have to go quickly now. The Paranoia has already been used by Wei. And so right now that means that Weibo can maybe stall this one out a little bit more. Keeper's Verdict comes out.
Oh no!
The jungler away! And that means that BLG might be able to take this one away. It's Knight that steals the dragon, but everybody on his team has fallen by the wayside. It's already 2 kills in favor of Weibo Gaming. And Tian gonna try to chase Knight down. Use the Riftwalk to try to escape, but he is caught between a ton of members of Weibo. And Elk and Bin have no reason to try to keep him alive.
We wait for the next Drake to spawn. The fact that it was picked up right there by Knight. Wei wasn't even able to snipe that one away.
Started up here by Weibo and already at half HP. Wei gonna have to Paranoia into the pit, but Erha is looking here on a flank, looking to try to disrupt all of BLG from going in. Weibo have pulled away from the Baron and are now looking for the fight. Nice flash away from Elk to get away from the shockwave. And now BLG will be able to keep themselves alive for now. Slice and dice out for Bin. Lilting Lullaby not issued just yet as Stianis continues to be on the chase. He flashes into the bot lane. Gonna be cleansed away from here by Elk and On. And nobody has died just yet for BLG. They have done a tremendous job in keeping themselves all up.
Still though, you get to pull away, potentially go play around this Baron once again, and a couple of the key abilities were used. Specifically, Elk's Flash is now going to be down for the next 4 minutes.
Components of the Zhonya's but not fully completed right now is Knight as he heads into the pit to try to make it a 5v5 around the Dragon Pit. Oh, things are so tense.
This is just
the
gonna
series
burn.
On the line right now. The vision just not on Weibo's side. Are they just going to give this away? Paranoia comes out.
Wait.
Wade's gonna have to get in there somehow, some way. Who's gonna get in? It's secured by Weibo Gaming. The Keeper Verdict came out just a little bit too late, but the bullet time is not gonna do enough. The kill is on to Light, and now BLG gonna try to win this one despite the soul going over. Elk's excited. Elk's online. Elk trying to win this one. Bin flashing over. Finds the stun of the Xiaohu. Elk gets another reset here as finally BLG are on the board, but they're looking a little.
Oh, the TP.
A teleport's coming in, and TN is taking over this team fight. Is just too damn big on the deer. Trying to chase down Knight as the last remaining survivor on BLG, but Weibo Gaming.
Until Wei is back up. Without a Paranoia, he won't be able to get into this pit, and it is just going to be Baron picked up right here for Weibo. They pulled this game through. It looked a little bit iffy for a couple of seconds, especially once the level 16 was hit there. Right here out of Wei. Hexplate into GA. He does no damage, I mean negative damage at this point. He's probably going to be healing Light or Xiaohu when he hits them. He is just a light switch at this point in the game.
We're going for a mega flank right now. As a
He's not even going to find it, though.
They're going to be so far away. This fight's going to take so long to try to break out. They ult away the Alistar, and here comes the Paranoia, but nobody's going down. Light just keeps himself alive the entire goddamn time. 4 for nothing. Elk will drop. It's a clean ace in a 4v5 situation for Weibo Gaming, as they will end their first round robin with an absolute exclamation point. A 15-2 dominant game 3 victory over Bilibili to end their first round robin at 5-4.
It takes them 3 games, but Weibo gonna come out on top right